Indigenous people and pastoralists are the guardians of much of the world's remaining livestock biodiversity. Their traditional knowledge and lifestyles are a prerequisite for the conservation of breeds which have evolved their special traits over long periods of interaction with particular, often challenging ecosystems. Thus, indigenous people, breeds, and their environment are connected to each other in mutual interdependence, such that if even one component is removed, the whole system will collapse. This important role of indigenous people as custodians of biological diversity is recognized and supported by two international agreements. The United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity, in its paragraph 8J, states, "Contracting parties shall, subject to national legislation, respect, preserve, and maintain knowledge, innovations, and practices of indigenous and local communities embodying traditional lifestyles relevant for the conservation and sustainable use of biological diversity." The Global Plan of Action for Animal Genetic Resources, agreed upon in Interlaken, also recognized this in its strategic priority number 6, which seeks to support indigenous and local production systems and associated knowledge systems of importance to the maintenance and sustainable use of animal genetic resources. As scientific efforts to document livestock breeds have focused on their physical traits and production characteristics, the association between breeds and communities has often remained invisible and concealed. Biocultural protocols are a means of bringing to light the crucial role of communities in conserving indigenous breeds and in maintaining the web of life that depends on them.
Joint decision on access and benefit sharing.
This tool was first developed in the context of the access and benefit sharing debate and helps communities reflect on their traditional knowledge and in raising their awareness about national legal frameworks that support their rights.
So what Article 8J is saying is that there is something that we must learn from indigenous and local communities. So a community protocol at the end of it, a bicultural community protocol, is almost like a legal document or a customary law document.
The working group on access and benefit sharing has been asked to develop a regime, an international regime on access and benefit sharing. But this regime is essentially an operationalization of Article 15 and Article 8J. So that is the clear mandate of the working group on ABS. That is, create a regime that operationalizes Article 15 and Article 8J. Now, Article 15 deals with access to genetic resources. It says that states have absolute control over their resources. But when you talk about operationalizing Article 8J, how do you do that? How do you operationalize this kind of a way of life that communities have? How do you protect it? How do you protect traditional knowledge? And really what we're trying to do when we develop community protocols is for communities, is communities trying to explain to the world, so to speak, or to the people who are developing this regime, that this is really our ways of being and knowing, and we have certain customary norms, we have certain values, we have certain laws, and what we would like you to do is to respect this. And that is really the way of operationalizing Article 8J. And what we're asking for states to do when they develop the international regime on access and benefit sharing is that to remember that the only way you can operationalize Article 8J is to give to some extent a legal validity to these customary laws or community level procedures or community protocols, whatever you call them. So it's really communities having a say in some sense in lawmaking, so to speak.
Raika are the traditional pastoralists of Rajasthan in India. They are the stewards of the camel and a number of breeds. Loss of their grazing rights in the Kumbhalgarh sanctuary has seriously undermined their traditional lifestyle and forced them to give up their herds. By establishing a biocultural protocol with the help of 2 NGOs, the community documented not only their traditional knowledge and their genetic resources, but also became aware of the various existing laws that entitle them to in situ conservation of their breeds. At the end of the process, they had a document at hand that was submitted to India's National Biodiversity Authority and outlines their rights as biodiversity conserving livestock keepers.
Establishing a biocultural protocol has been of enormous significance for the Raika community, because here they've actually for the first time put on record in a systematic way their role in conserving the ecosystem, their role in conserving indigenous breeds which uphold the integrity of the ecosystem, and also the environmental services they provide, especially in the context of the Kumbhalgarh sanctuary. Not only that, through this process of documenting their knowledge, they've also become aware of the actually already existing national and international legal frameworks that recognize, acknowledge, and support their right to continue providing these services to for the common good.
The Samburu are a pastoralist community inhabiting the drought-prone Laikipia Plateau of northern Kenya. Their culture revolves around their cattle, scientifically classified as East African zebu. Cattle are also an important part of their rituals and regarded as currency in all life cycle events and social interactions within the community. They also keep the rare red Maasai sheep, whose parasite resistance has been coveted by scientists. However, the red Maasai has become threatened due to promotion of the more productive but less drought-resistant Dorper sheep by the government and development agencies. The process of establishing their biocultural protocol helped the community reflect on the benefits of the red Maasai breed over the Dorper in the context of the current drought, in which the red Maasai has a much higher survival rate.
We are gathering this information because the Samburus and the Maasai have tried to maintain their culture. They have tried to maintain their livestock right from the beginning up to now, and nobody has documented why these people are sticking with their culture. And if we don't bring this information to them, we might end up losing all the information about the Samburus or the Maasais, and also about their livestock. We have already known that many people are interested with the red Maasai because it's genetically it's known that it is resistant to worms. So it is better to document this information and let people know that they have an important resource which they can tap in the long run if that information is brought to them, and they can use that information to get some assistance from the government, some assistance from the donors, or some assistance from whoever will get access to this information.
Everybody is asking, you notice that the lady's picture has the same.
At a recent meeting of indigenous and local communities from Africa, the Raika Biocultural Protocol was presented by Dalibai Raika, a representative of the Raika community. The conference participants recognized community protocols as an essential element of the international regime on access and benefit sharing that governments will negotiate at the 10th conference of the Convention on Biological Diversity to be held in Nagoya, Japan, at the end of 2010.
We achieved already quite a lot with bringing these different stakeholders together and creating a network of people who are aware of these issues and trying to come up with workable instruments and workable approaches on how to regulate and implement access and benefit sharing at the national level.
Pastoralists and other indigenous livestock keepers have created breeds that are a crucial asset for humanity in adapting to climate change, conserving biological diversity, and sustaining food production in harsh and challenging environments. Community protocols are a means of achieving the long overdue recognition for this biocultural heritage.